Hey, hi, hello! My name's Emery, aka That Yachty Girl on TikTok. If you're here from TikTok, you know what we're talking about today. Story time. If you're not here from TikTok and you just randomly found my YouTube page and my first YouTube video, hey, I'm a yachtie. I work on yachts as a stewardess. I have been for a little over 3 years now. I teach people on TikTok how to get into the yachting industry and just fun little videos about my travels and where I go. Why a lot of you guys are here today is probably because of this TikTok.
It's all gonna be safe, and we're all gonna have a great time. What in the Jesus Christ was...
And a lot of you guys wanted a story time, which is fair enough. We're not just gonna be talking about the absolute horrific, worst, most awful program that I've ever been on, but we're also gonna talk about the best because there's a balance of the good and the bad. First, before we get into this story time, please go and subscribe. I'm so excited to be on here. I've been wanting to start a YouTube channel talking about the yachting industry and helping people for so long now. And here we are finally doing it. And if you're not following me on TikTok, obviously go follow me on there because I don't want to sound cocky, but I have some pretty funny stuff on there. I don't know. My mom says it's funny. What really struck me was the amount of yachties that either DM'd me or commented on that TikTok that I posted that everyone has been there. Everyone has had at least one program where it was just an absolute shit show. And that's why I wanted to come on and talk about it because as a new yachtie, yes, it's very exciting. Yes, it's such an incredible industry. I'm not hating on the industry whatsoever. We're gonna talk about my favorite program and best program that I've ever been on. But there are bad programs that you should not feel obligated to stay in. Let's get into it. If you went and checked that TikTok out, in the caption it says that I almost died 3 times in one day. We're definitely gonna get into that because there were some red flags. As a new yachtie, I didn't see those. I was just so excited about going to Mexico and going and doing all these incredible things where I overlooked a lot of stuff that you should not overlook. Okay. I just got off of my second yacht that I had worked on because the yacht sold and the new owners decided that they didn't need a stewardess. Fine. So I go out, I start looking at job ads, and I start applying. I find this great boat, very active, was about to cross from Florida through the Panama Canal and go over to Mexico. Going through the Panama Canal is incredible experience. I had a Zoom meeting with the captain and we hit it off great. They invited me to come and tour the yacht. I was applying for a second stewardess position and I had a chief stew above me and that was it. We were 2 interior and I also worked on deck a little bit, which I was super excited about. Fast forward, I get the job, everything's going great. We're doing some provisioning in Fort Lauderdale before we start our month-long cross over to Mexico. First red flag that can literally be either exterior or interior. If your head of department is finding it fun to just get blackout hammered the first week that you are on board, run. It never ends well. Unfortunately, in this industry, there are some substance abuse, so you need to watch out for that. Another red flag, about a week or so into it, I started to notice that the chief stew was not really taking into consideration of my ideas or my thoughts and basically was controlling absolutely everything that I was doing. She was a much older woman and she had worked with the owners for years. So I kind of took it as she really knows what she's doing and I should just shut up and follow her lead. Your head of department, whether you're a junior deckhand, junior stew, should be there to not only guide you, but also listen to what you have to say. It's teamwork here, okay? It's teamwork. Teamwork makes the dream work. Anyways, another red flag that I saw was the captain. Now, this was his first captain's job. He was a young guy, I think in his 30s, when we're in the middle of a crossing and he pulls out a Corona, that's like a big red flag. Like, when I look back on this, I just literally want to punch myself in the face. So not only was there substance abuse from my head of department, aka Chief Stu, but there were also just safety concerns with the captain already. Now you might be thinking to yourself, Emery, isn't there some sort of organization that you could have called to get this guy fired or get this Chief Stu fired? Yes. Yes, there is. I actually wasn't aware of this organization until after the fact that I got off of this boat. Once I talked to other yachties about it, I soon realized that they should both not be in this industry. We finish our month-long crossing, we finally get to La Paz, and we were getting ready for our first trip. This was a private yacht, so the only people that would be coming on was the owner, Mr. and Mrs. We got done with our trip. The chef, the captain, and I all decided to go out for a fun day at the beach. We were taking the tender over to a nice exclusive beach that had beautiful sand, gorgeous waters, and the perfect day to have a beach day. Now, remember how I said that the captain was comfortable sitting back and having a couple beers during a crossing? It didn't stop just there. If he's doing it on the big boat, he's gonna do it on the little boat too. So we're driving the tender to the beach. We set everything up, and he pulls out his alcoholic beverage of choice and consumes far too much. I didn't fully realize this until we started wake surfing behind the tender. We had gone wake surfing before, and this guy was very good at wake surfing and absolutely knew how to get up on the board and do some tricks. When I started to realize that something was wrong was he wasn't able to get up. So he had finally had enough, he got frustrated, and he decided to come back into the boat, and I decided to go wake surfing. By this particular beach, there were plenty of shallow spots where coral was just about 2 to 3 feet under the water. Now, being the second stew and still new in the industry, of course I thought that the captain would be able to navigate through these coral patches. I was wrong. I heard a loud bang. I looked up. The whole back of the rib tender, which was about like 15 feet long. It wasn't big. I saw the whole back of the tender, including the engine, fly out of the air and back down. My whole line went completely slacked and I went flying into the water. Cut my leg open because I was in 3 feet of water and then it was just a bed of coral. That was adventure number 1. After that, I sort of decided that that was close enough for me and I wanted to pack up and go back to the boat. It was at that point where I was feeling very unsafe. We packed everything up, and as we were leaving, I kept looking at the chef and I was telling him that he needed to drive the tender back. The captain played the I'm the captain card and took control of the tender. We were going fast and he was wearing a baseball cap. The baseball cap went flying into the water and he didn't want to lose it, so he decided to circle around and go back and get it. As we stopped next to the hat, I turned to the captain, who was in the driver's seat, and I said, to stay in neutral, do not go forward. I'm leaning off to grab your hat. As I go over, I pick the hat out of the water. He kicks it into full throttle. Luckily, I was able to catch myself, but my head was about a foot, maybe 1.5 feet away from the propeller. At that point, I made him get out of the driver's seat and I asked the chef to drive us home. I had the captain buried underneath some of the water toys just to keep him down because for some reason he wanted to get up off the bow and jump into the water as we were moving at like 25 miles per hour. As I was trying to keep him down, I just kept glancing up to see that these channel markers that were basically 8 feet wide and 10 feet high was directly in front of us, but it was so big that of course the chef is going to see that. These things are massive, they're metal. It was painted red. We kept getting closer and closer to this channel marker, and finally when we were about 10 feet away, I whipped around to the chef to scream stop. but there wasn't enough time. We hit the channel marker. Thankfully, not directly head on, but a little bit off to the side, and we went flying. The whole side of the tender was completely scratched. It had paint all the way down it. Of course, we were all very shaken up. I chewed out the chef, of course, because that was number 3 in one day. And I didn't have much tender driving experience, you could say. But at that point, I did not give a f. I put him to the side. The captain was absolutely laughing his ass off. He was hammered. He was laughing. The chef was obviously apologizing. I didn't care. I drove us home, I think going like maybe 5 miles per hour. I was so done. Shortly after that, I decided to get off of this boat. There were major safety concerns. There was substance abuse. I was taking care of the chief stew when she was getting drunk, and now I had to basically watch out for my life when I was with the captain, which is not how it should be. I just remember going to bed every night, super unhappy with the program that I was on. I guess that's red flag number 4. So many people when I got started were saying you at least have to hang on for a year in your first job, in your second job, right when you're starting out, or else you're not going to find other jobs. I absolutely call bullshit on that. If you are in a position where you are uncomfortable, get off. Leave. There are so many better programs out there. There are so many programs out there in general. It's very common. A lot of these programs have a 3-month trial period for both you to figure out if it's a good fit for you and for them to figure out if it's a good fit for them. Do not stay on a program just because you think you're not going to find a job if you get off in a month. I'm sweating so much. This was such like a topic that I was going back and forth on talking about because on my TikTok, like I talk about all of the fun things that we get to do and all of the incredible travel that we get to do. But I have so many new yachties on there asking about how to get started and where to apply and all of these great things that you should be excited for. But I had to give you tips on what to look out for if you do come across a very bad program. Let's talk about the best program that I've ever been on. This program, I was living in the Bahamas for 7 to 8 months as I was working with this program. It was such a fun atmosphere with, yes, we were having fun and going out, but we also had very strict safety rules, which kept everything in line. That's a good balance. Everyone was down to have a good time, respectfully and responsibly. It was great. We even had a crew tender, which was a separate tender, literally just for us, to go out and explore the Bahamas. This is where I learned to free dive, where I really got into my TikTok and showing you guys what we get to do. We got to go and have beach days, we got to go and have crew dinners, there was a gym, all of the crew liked to go and work out. It was such an incredible job. I absolutely loved my chief stew. She was, again, willing to teach me a lot of the things, but also super open to new ideas that I had. And it made me feel like I was able to grow in my position because I was still pretty new in the second stew role. She guided me and absolutely adore her. Carrie, if you're watching this, yes, it's about you. I'm still in contact with the captain, I'm still in contact with the chief stew, the bosun, and the chef. Absolutely adore all of them. I think that's enough ranting for my first YouTube video. I'm gonna link that organization in the description just so it's easy to find for everyone that's getting into the yachting industry. If you do come across someone or a program that is not good, do not be afraid to reach out. Do not be afraid to get them in trouble. They should not be in the industry. Thank you guys so much for watching. I know I had a good time. I hope you did too. Again, please go and subscribe. I'm so excited to teach you guys about this industry. I'm so excited to be on YouTube finally. Thanks for watching.